Hello, biology students. So it's the day before your first quiz, and hopefully you feel like you're getting there and you're ready. So what I wanted to do is just show you a couple of things. You should have been working on the review sheet. And if you have any questions, I have the link here for our normal Zoom meetings. And you can Zoom and ask me any questions during our normal class time. So between 11 and 12, if you have any questions, go ahead and log into the Zoom. I'll have it on, and you can ask me questions that you might have at that time. Okay, so yesterday, you should have added on this practice graphing in Google Sheets. So I wanted to show you how to do this, just so you can double check your graph. When we used Google Sheets, you've got this set of data. Notice that the title of the graph says average number of fish species in the lake in the days after spawning season. So what that means is that these are already averages. You don't have to do anything with them. The calculations have been done for you. What you'll do is then just make your graph and make sure that you're following your graphing rules to get a graph, a final graph. So when we do our graph, we start in the first box, click and highlight the data that we want. And then we're going to make our graph. Now, as we do this, we need to think about what type of graph we want it to be. So when we look at this data, we've got days, and then we've got the number of fish for the different species. Because days are a continuous thing, they're sequential, we want a line graph because we want to see the number of fish that are happening over time. In terms of the offspring for each of these groups. So instead of a bar graph, I would want it to be a line graph because I want to see, oops, where'd it go? I want to see the trend over the days of what's happening. I have my key, so I've got that the blue is the zebrafish, the red is the freshwater salmon, and the yellow is the perch. Now, this down here is the number of days. But my label here says animal species. So I want to change that so I can do that over here. Notice it went to customize, and I've got this drop down menu, horizontal axis. And so instead of animal species, I want this to be time, and my unit is days. And then notice that there's no label over here for my vertical axis. So I'm going to choose that in my menu. And my vertical axis is these numbers that are here on my data table. So the 55, the 97, and these represent the number of fish in the population. Oops. Okay, so that works. So I've got that. Now, is this the best title? Right, so is that a real descriptive title? Well, if we look at our data table, we've got a really nice title here that's telling us what this data is. The average number of fish species in this lake plateau in the days after spawning season. This says zebrafish, freshwater, salmon, and perch. That's not a really great title. This, though, is a pretty good title. So instead of having to rewrite a title, I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to replace this title. Because I have already clicked off of my graph, I can click these three dots, click Edit Chart, go back to Customize, choose my title, and I'm going to change this to what I want it to be. And then I'm going to look at my graph and see if I feel like this is good. If I feel it's good, I can let it be. If I want to add anything else, if I need to look for other graphing rules, I can do that. You can add in lines. So if you wanted to add in, oops, the grid lines, you can do that. Some people like to see the lines on there. So I might want to put lines in for those, the ticks, or I can even do with the vertical axis, I can put in step value. I can put in my grid lines. Okay, so I might want minor grid lines in there, which puts in these lines for it. So if you want to add those in, you can, but otherwise it's good. You could change the colors of these if you felt you wanted to do that too. But make sure that you have followed your graphing rules, and this is what your graph should look like for the sample data that you were given. Okay. The other thing that was linked from yesterday was the review sheet for the quiz. So hopefully you've been working through that. And again, if you got stuck on anything, please log in to the Zoom anytime between 11 and 12 so that you can ask me any questions that you have so that I know that you're ready for the quiz. All right, happy studying, and I will see you Friday. We will start our Zoom right at 11, and that's when we will start the quiz. All right, I will see you on Friday.